So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste, and a very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 266th episode. In the last 265 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 5,000 school leaders on this very platform where they've shared their ideas, opinions, innovation, and what all new are they doing in the education space. तो नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लब वर्ल्ड वेब टॉक्स के 266वें एपिसोड में। पिछले 265 एपिसोड्स में हमने करीबन 5,000 से ज्यादा शिक्षाविदों से बातचीत की और उनसे जानने की कोशिश की कि वो शिक्षा को कैसे बदल रहे हैं और शिक्षा उन्हें कैसे बदल रही है. So today as well, in the next 50 to 60 minutes that you are here with us, we'll try to talk about a superbly interesting topic which becomes critical with every passing day because, the kind of advent of social media coming in our lives, our public lives becoming superbly big, we all have to take care of this, and specifically teens. But before we start this conversation, let me set the ground rules for everyone. So it's an amazing experience for everyone during the next 50 minutes. First and foremost, Blub World Web Talks is a bilingual platform. So you can use English or Hindi, any of these two languages. Please don't use a third one because I might not get it. If you still want to use it, you can. Most importantly, the second point or the second ground rule, the Blub World Web Talk is kind of a timed platform. So think of it like a speaking sprint, not like a speaking marathon. So the speaking time is limited, and once your speaking time comes to an end, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity crisp and entertaining for everyone. Now, remember, when you see my hand up in the air or you see Blub World's hand up in the air, that simply means that we are requesting you to conclude within the next 30 seconds. So if you see my hand or you see Blub World's hand, make sure that you start concluding the speech. In the initial rounds, if you are not able to make your point or not complete the whole statement, or if you get muted, don't worry. There is an open floor at the end. We'll again invite you there to add more to the conversation. Essentially, enjoy the complete ride, and most importantly, don't forget the ideas that you really want to put forth for the audience here. So let's start this conversation. Today, we have two set of people who bring in very unique experiences to this conversation. One is school leaders who see so many children, so many teens every single day, who help them navigate their lives. And secondly, we have teenagers who see this problem statement from a completely different perspective. Before we start the session, I would request everyone, all the people who are there on the call as speakers, make sure that your video is on, because from this point onwards, you might not be able to start your video. And once you have put it on, don't turn it off because we would need that in the edit. Thank you so much for listening to me and being a part of this conversation. Let's start the 266th episode of the Blub World Web Talks. And today we're going to talk about, can teenagers go to jail for what they post online? We're not trying to give them the route to go to jail, but trying to tell them what not to do so that they may be safe. Let's try to know from the experts, from teenagers, from school leaders, what do they think, what should be posted online, what should not be posted online, and what could end up into legal trouble for a teenager. So let me invite the first speaker for today. Let's start with someone who can add the school leader perspective to the discussion. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Anthoniamal Paul, the principal of Good Day Defence School from Hanumangarh, Rajasthan. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Thank you. Thank you for the Blub World to once again you calling me for this open session. And I think the online medium or the posting medium is essential nowadays, because when we are speaking about the educational institution or the communication system, right, we are using this online medium and we are having somehow we are having free of that, because we are free to post our mind or thoughts, whatever may be the case. But only thing is, when the teen people are entering into the online medium, it is a duty of ourselves, that is, whether it is teachers from the school or from the parent side, we should make them to understand. We should make them to clarify, giving the clarification about that. What is this online medium used for? in which way we are going to handle this medium, whether it is positively or negatively. Positively in the sense in which way it is positively we are using it, whether it is for our future or our present education, whatever may be the case, and what we are going to post over it, right? That is very much important, because whatever we are posting, it should not be a hurdle or it should not hurt anyone, right? That is very much important. And as a human being, we have to inculcate that the it is a sensible one, right? Any type group of people, whether it is age group or the economical group, whoever may be the case, everybody are using online media. So we have to educate our teen group that this is the thing, and if we are doing this, these are the after posting that, these are the consequences you going to be, right? This is our duty as well as responsibility. And another thing, here the educators are having much more responsibility, because not all the parents are having that ability to understand the posting or using the online media. So this is my first round.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's the responsibility of the elders or the institutions typically taking care of teenagers to tell them what to post, what not to post, and most importantly, what happens after you post. Because that's the consequence that could make things worse, especially for a teenager who might not understand the full extent of law specifically to posting content online. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker, Ms. Shauli Datta, the principal of Bishop Scott Girls School from Patna, Bihar. Ma'am, over to you. Since you're a school leader of a girls' school, you see the social media in a very different light. You see very different kind of experiences coming to you. So how has your experience been, and how important do you think it is to tell children what to post and what not to post?
I would wish everybody a good evening first. And to begin with, I would like to state that I would also go in the line of what ma'am has said, but I would like to put it in a different way, because I believe in a very interesting concept, that is QED. Question. First, you question the content which you are going to post, whether it is going to be beneficial to anybody or not. If it is, you have to be a little empathetic about it. If you're not being empathetic about it, you will end up hurting somebody. Once you have questioned, once you have analyzed what is there, then you explore around yourself. Okay, you have convinced yourself that it is good enough. Then you explore, you ask somebody who is, I have always told all my students that you should always have an adult mentor who can guide you at the time when you are at a lurch, or when you are not having a clear vision of what is going to happen with you if you do something like that. After exploring that, you go to that person, find out whether it is good enough for you to post something like that. And if you find out that it is not good enough, then discover a way. And if you are you want to put it because it is your perception of something, so you discover a way to put it without hurting anyone. Because once a media, this digital footprints are there to stay forever. Maybe if you are getting into a trouble, you may get reprimanded for that n number of times, but one thing you remember, that this particular content will stay for n number of years, and the future generations will stumble upon it and may also damage themselves in the process. So that at the end of the day, it's the empathy that matters a lot. And as far as this is required to know that digital literacy is a must at this point of time. As ma'am had rightfully put, that all parents may not be very smart with this digital world. So that is where, when the school leaders, the teachers, the adult mentors come into the, step in and try to make the child more analytical. You cannot say do's and don'ts now. Do's and don'ts are a very out thing right now. You have to teach your children that you have to face the consequences yourselves. So it is better that you actually plan out your action in such a way that you do not hurt people. And digital contents are something which is maligning the mind of the younger generation. Previously, when Orkut and Yahoo were there, that time the people who were involved in this were young adults, maybe 17, 18, 19. But now even pre-teens are there. So this is very much important that we actually teach them the empathetic part and also how to make them understand that what is good and bad for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You're very right when you say that digital literacy is becoming even more important. It's no more about that young adult who's part of the internet. Everyone is part of the internet. You cannot only say pre-teens. Even a toddler is now a part of the internet when they consume YouTube reels, either while eating food or when the parent typically wants to distract them. And that's why Coco Melon makes so much money on YouTube. Everyone is there on the internet, but we really forgot a point that you mentioned. Whatever you put on the internet, you typically can never take it down. It's there somewhere, even after you delete it. Even if when you think you've taken away all the traces of it, every single piece of content that you put out there has nearly infinite lifetime. So think of that before you make your next post. And what is it that you're really putting out there and for whom? And typically understand for how and how can people really use the content to put out. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Miss Shabnam Bhaumik, the principal of Podar International School from Howrah, West Bengal. Shabnam, ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
A very warm good evening. Am I audible? Yeah. To all participants and the panelists. I would agree with Ma'am Sauli Datta, what she said about building empathy, but it's just not about your online behavior. It's about having empathy in everything. See, the problem is we are talking about what they post online, what teenagers post online. Is there is the depth of the negative things is way deeper than we understand, or we adults, our generation people, we even would agree to. For us, it is limited to making comments, uh, uh, bullying, cyberbullying someone, or just trolling, this kind of stuff. But what I understand from my students and my teenage son is the problem goes much deeper. It has roots much deeper. It is like not only it's seemingly we have seen this web series adolescence, right? So it's just a little bit thing is ultimately we get to know that the problem was the child not understanding the equation between the different genders, or being too much gender insensitive maybe. So that's a very different story. It's we That's not at all about online behavior, but ultimately it does translate into online behavior. We uh, allowing kids to see, this internet is here to stay. Problem is uh, kids, they know how to use the dark wave, and we don't. So it's so complicated because the generation gap is too much. It is. I'm a little getting little disconcerted with this. Can I remove this and then just okay, just a second. Give me a moment, please. Okay. Am I still audible? Yeah. Okay. I feel comfortable that way. So, see, now what happens is we cannot, let's face it, we cannot track or change or monitor what our kids, teenager, below teenager, little ones, what they are doing online, we cannot do. We cannot do anything about it. They know how to hide their tracks. They know how to delete their tracks even. And the problem is you cannot even if, but then yes, even if you catch hold of them, it is nearly impossible to find out exactly and prove it in the law of court. Because we are talking jail, I would talk about law of court, and it is unprovable. Okay. Now what happens is, let's come back to the term jail. Should they be sent to prison? I would say no. Yes, sir. Please. You have a question?
Thank you so much, ma'am. The first 3 minutes were over, but we'll try to come back to you. The speaking time in the web talks is fixed at 3 minutes. We'll give you more time in the open floor. You made a very important point, and I think you mentioned a perfect example for this: adolescence as a series. The problem is not that the teenagers know the internet. The problem is far more that even when they're just sitting next to you, they might not want to talk to you. If they don't confide in you, that's where the problem really starts. That we are losing those simple relationships. You don't know what's happening in the next room, not because they have access to internet, simply because they don't confide in you. So figure out what's happening. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Sharmila Mukherjee, the principal of Sarsuna Girls High School, Kolkata, West Bengal. Ma'am, in a girls' school, you see things happening in a very different way. Do you see it as more challenging to handle social media in a girls' school, or do you think it's far more simple? Over to you.
Evening, everyone. I would like to say that in the girls' school, we do face a lot of challenges because girls usually don't come up with their problems and all. But still, every day we have pep talks with them that how to handle the online media. Because nowadays youngsters are very much into the online thing. So naturally, as a female, like we have all our female teachers in our school, so it is a keep them in the right track. And I feel, that online, the behavior which they show, like hate speeches or cyberbullying or defamation of others, I think these, it comes with their own personality, how they are behaving personally. The way they behave personally, that is the thing which they bring out online. So it becomes a great challenge for us that we keep them in the right track, and every day we have a counseling session for them. And especially when we see, we do see sometimes that they are posting something like a hate speech or some cyberbullying or defaming anyone. You said the right thing that once it is posted and deleted, but still it is there. So that is the thing. We also make them understand that once you have done it, it cannot be deleted forever, because in the hearts it's already there. So it is a challenging job as a girls' school principal. And I think it's very difficult for us, but along with the cooperation with all the teachers, we are trying to cope up with the situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's very difficult to just get them to change behavior by pep talks, but I think it is important that you have those pep talks, because if even they are gone, the situation could even become worse. And the reason why I asked that how it typically pans out in a girls' school is boys and girls look at the internet in a very different way. They consume internet in a very different way. And we will have to figure out ways of how we keep the platform gender neutral. And most importantly, how we keep the digital literacy also gender neutral while really addressing the concerns that both the genders might have. So this is really important to understand within your own ecosystems, that what are the learnings that you could share with other principals, other teachers, other schools, so that they are also, getting some assistance where they have to, bring teens back to conversations from just pure internet. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Siddharth Pruthi, the principal of Doon Imperial School from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Siddharth, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Just a moment. I can't see. Am I audible, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. We are in a world where a single click can echo for years, or a joke can become tomorrow's headline. So, if we talk about a selfie, like it was taken years back, it can come back in some form after so many years. So, honestly speaking, our online lives are no more secret diaries, which they used to be earlier. So every meme, every comment can create a deep impact. And if the question here is, can teenagers go to jail? So the answer is completely unmistakably yes. There are laws which are governing. There are IT laws in India under Section 66E, under Section 67, which their teenagers should be aware that there are laws which can send them to not I exactly I would say jail. Sometimes when it is too extreme, they can go to jail. So they need to know that yes, there are law. And I feel teenagers have misinterpreted the right to speech, the right to expression. That is why they feel this is my right, I can write anything, it's my right, but they have misinterpreted it. And there have been examples. A 14-year boy in Karnataka was arrested for posting anti-racial comments. A guy was also arrested by police for sharing some obscene content of a woman online. And even in Florida, a guy posted a video of a road accident, and he was running and rash driving, and the charges were there for him. So he was a teenager. So if we give them examples, they would be aware that yes, they can be sent to jail. There are laws. So just joking is not an answer for them. So we mainly need to remind our children that your reputation is not what just you build. It is something you don't post online. These days we have to tackle it in such a way. If you don't need to share everything online. And most importantly, in the technological era, if we talk about absolute power corrupts absolutely, if we say the they have the absolute power, but equal amount of moral education, a balance between two can give the better thing. They can learn anything online, but sometimes they don't even need anybody. But how to use it in a positive way, that matters, and what can we do about it, that matters. So if we give them complete awareness about the laws at a very young age, because they know about everything, we talk about every topic. And if we give them right moral education, if we listen to them, if we sit with them, if we make them understand by a little bit of personal touch, I think the things can go well. Thank you. With this, I conclude my session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Siddharji. I think everyone at this point should just remind themselves that when Jimmy Kimmel can go off air, anyone can say anything to you, because the freedom of expression is right now finding a new definition across countries, across democracies. So it's very crucial for everyone to understand you might have an opinion, but it's not necessary that it's good enough to go public. So have opinions, have images, have selfies, but remember, if you put something on the internet, you never know if somebody has screenshotted it or somebody might have saved it. And even after you take all the efforts of deleting it from everywhere on the internet, it still might pop up. And you cannot block this particular pop-up. Thank you so much, Siddharthi. Let me invite the next speaker. A very warm welcome to Ms. Veena Anil, the principal of Diya Academy of Learning from Bengaluru, Karnataka, India. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
A very good evening. I hope I am audible to everybody. Fine. So I really echo with my previous speakers, whoever has spoken about it. In fact, our teenagers are living in two worlds today. The first one is definitely the physical one and the digital one. So what they say online carries as much weight as what they say face to face. So the question is, do they really know how serious that can be? So the answer to your question, can teens go to jail for what they post online? Yes, definitely answer we know. Teens can face legal consequences for what they post. And mostly it goes to juvenile systems, which aims for the reforms. But still there are incidents where Siddharth sir has already mentioned where serious posts can also lead to detention or a criminal record. Now, the myth of freedom of speech, which is what we are actually listening to most of the teenagers, what they speak about, teens often believe I can say whatever I want, it's my right. But freedom of expression doesn't mean freedom from consequences. So if a post incites fear or hatred or harm to anyone, it can move from personal opinion to legal liability. Now, as you all were mentioning, the digital footprint reminder, yes, if it is there online, how much ever you try to delete it, erase it, it is permanent and it is traceable. That is the seriousness of this internet. So in future, probably the colleges or employers or even the law enforcement, if they want, they can actually pull up old posts. So one single delete button may not erase the erase history. So the question is like, as educators or as adults or as parents, what we can do. See, first of all, teens are not automatically equipped to manage this digital world. And probably after the COVID, we have seen this kind of sudden exposure to this internet and social media and all these things. The problem was what we were stopping them to use all these days, all of a sudden we have given them freedom to use. So now, as parents, we did not know, as educators, we did not know where to put a stop. And teen or even toddlers also today, now if we want them to sit without disturbing us, we just hand over the mobile to them. So that is the case where we have. So only one thing that we can do is, how do we create that empathy in their mind? How do we bring that digital citizenship in their mind? It's not just computer literacy, it's actually life literacy today. So I would suggest we all, as educators, as adults, we should work on bringing this empathy, privacy, respecting each other, and the accountability of our own actions is something which we need to work on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ina ma'am. We might all understand that we might have the freedom of expression, but also at the same time understand you're putting things in the public media. You might express the right things, but is everyone listening? And when everyone listens, the liability of legality or litigation comes along with it. The freedom of expression is still there, but do you have a close, knit social group who's ready to have a conversation without going public? If you don't have that, that's what you're missing. Figure out where are those people, because even the parents now understand the drug use effect a phone has on a toddler. When we want space, we simply give them a dose that's technology for you. Enjoy it for the 5 minutes and give me my life back for 5 minutes. Are we doing it right? These are some questions that should come out and should typically be asked at the relevant forums. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker. A very warm welcome, Ms. V. Sudha Malini, the principal of RMK Senior Secondary School from Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Bal, for having me here. Good evening, all the colleagues. It's nice to meet you all, because even though we are in different part of India, this platform brought us together to at least virtually meet each other. We all are in this one cause, that is the responsibility as a leaders. The young India is with us. So we have more responsibility of directing them in the right path. So what I thought is like in the virtual world, okay, before the child getting into the virtual world, first the education should go to the parents, because they are the one who is exactly showing that when the child was in primary, they take a photograph and post it in all the Facebook, all the medias. They don't know the consequences. Now, first step is to, instead of we are talking about a teenager, instead of educating the teenager, every school, every parent has to be educated what you are doing with your child photograph or how you are posting, what are the consequences. And like in the textbook, I feel all the primary classes, we have a lesson called safety and first aid. We talk about how does the safety in a house, what is the safety in the school, what is the safety in the bus. We have to add a chapter of what is the safety in the online, and what the earlier they spoke about what are all the rules and regulations, how you have to first age, very importantly. Even the child 4th standard, 5th standard, they are into the media. They don't know, just elder is there, so I also open an account and join. What is the age criteria? Unless and otherwise, I'm not. Some medias are 13 years, some are 18 years. If you are below the age, first time, if you are not with that particular age, you are doing a crime. Okay, when you're not in the age of 13 or 18, based on the media, whichever is allowing, you are claiming all the wrong credentials. Means, first of all, you are a crime. After that, only you are going to the jail and other things. So, first basic understanding is what is the age. It's all about a parent. The parent has to, have behind the child whether the child is having a account in this. We have to educate the students. We are doing it, but still at home because they are not with the media inside the school. They're at home only. So the parent has to monitor them whether they have an account. And not only that, the teenagers are, for example, they have a group. Okay, once they have a group chats. Okay, for example, today in a school, some teacher they wanted to, earlier they used to comment about a teacher, means they go and write on the wall, she is a bad teacher, like that, in the bathroom walls and the school walls, like that. Now it is a media, they go and talk about today's chemistry class, today's physics class is very bad, and she was like this, and all those things. They started group chatting. Thank you. We'll continue.
I think you are at a very important point that from that school bathroom wall, that conversation has gone to a Facebook wall or an Instagram feed because they have that platform available. And I think the critical point that you mentioned is, are we really explaining to the parent or to the child that where does the criminality of it really start? When you make that fake account, giving all the fake information to that platform, that's where the crime is already committed. That's where you really start becoming a criminal. It's not necessary that you're caught and you're brought forth in a court of law, but that's where it really occurs. So I think that's very important. And let's continue the conversation. Let me invite the next speaker. Now, the next set of speakers is basically teenagers. So what are their opinion on this? Are schools helping them understand what can really end up for legal trouble for them? What are the steps they themselves take to understand that, whether, it'll help us, be in the right direction, or if we put us in a legal soup? What is it? How do they look at the same question? And what kind of support do they think people should provide them so they make better decisions in life? Let me invite Ms. Archita Anish, who's a grade 11 student from Sparkling Minds Global School, Bengaluru, Karnataka, India. Archita, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm Archita Anish, a student from Sparkling Minds Global School. And I'm also a student who's learned how to manage my digital media with the support of my mentors from school. And in our school, we receive a lot of support, especially post the COVID years. We went on a digital detox to understand how to manage our persona online, because all these threats are there. And we ourselves become a threat for ourselves when we're in a space that's not safe. So we've got a lot of support. And from that perspective, I believe that a crime is a crime, no matter who commits it, whether a hate speech or a post that seriously breaches someone else's privacy, there has to be consequences. And especially what one does online and on social media isn't just affecting them alone, it's affecting people worldwide as it reaches a lot of people. It can harm others around them. And it's only fair that we receive consequences of our actions. However, I also think that we must acknowledge that we teenagers are still growing. Our minds are still developing. Our values especially are still forming. And we're often in a state of confusion of what's right, what's wrong, what is acceptable, what isn't. And we're beginning to understand that our joy or happiness cannot come at the cost of someone else's well-being. And given our biological and social state, where we want to have friends, we want to be liked by people, teenagers often make impulsive decisions, and our decisions are influenced by peer pressure often. And in this context, sending a teenager to a jail can feel like extreme consequences, and it feels like an unempathetic solution to a mistake that's perhaps made in confusion or immaturity. That said, I don't think not taking an action or simply letting things go isn't a solution. There needs to be a clear, structured, and strict action, but ones that are curated with empathy. Here are a few solutions I thought of. One is a support line or digital counseling service where trained professionals reach out to teens after a harmful post is posted. This is to help them reflect on what actions they were taking, what actions they took, explain the impact, and guide them towards better choices. Instead of punishing, this can help us understand our actions and make better choices in the future. Another approach is using automated warnings and educational messages. On social media platforms, when a harmful post is detected, the teen could get an immediate warning explaining why it's inappropriate. And along with this, they also get a chance to delete, edit, or correct their mistake. And this kind of a real time action helps prevent harm before it spreads a lot, while also helps ensure we don't go into shame. Another one is a tally system where warnings are given over and over, and the third time is probably going to jail. So, if we teens are the future of the world, like you facilitators and mentors shared over here, we need support systems, not just punishments. Let's build solutions that help us become better digital citizens through empathy and education.
Thank you so much, Archita. I think that's a very broad expectation from the legislative system to be more empathetic, give you a couple of chances to, typically commit a crime and then you go into that. But you're very right. There should be some empathy, but that has to come at the school level or from the education front. We cannot expect a child to understand the criminality of content without ever teaching it to them. And that is the challenge right now, that you may have as much law, litigation, or as much, regulation there, but policing won't help. You will have to educate at some point, make them aware at some point. Only then we could have a more responsible internet community. Thank you so much. Speaker for today is Mr. Nikhil Verma, who's a grade 11 student from Sparkling Minds Global School, Bengaluru, Karnataka. Nikhil, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. So let me start with a quick situation, right? So let's imagine, right? We post a meme today and we're suddenly facing jail tomorrow. Sounds very extreme, right? So the question we're discussing today, can teens go to jail for what they post online, is very important and also a little scary. So as teenagers, we live a huge part of our lives online. Social media, gaming platforms, group chats, they're like extensions of who we are. But sometimes we forget that what we post isn't just casual or temporary. Screenshots last forever. And in the eyes of the law, our words and actions can carry very real and lasting consequences. So, can teens actually go to jail? The short answer is yes. Laws in many countries, including India, allow teens to be punished for this online behavior like threats, hate speech, harassment, cyberbullying, or spreading harmful and false content. And in some cases, the law doesn't draw much of a line between a 16-year and an adult. There have been real cases where teens have faced police complaints, court hearings, detentions just because of what they posted online. But think about it. How many times have we posted something without really overthinking? A joke that came out wrong, a meme that was shared in the heat of the moment, a comment made just to impress friends. It may feel harmless at the time, but online words can travel very fast. They can be misunderstood and also cause real harm. So that's where the bigger question comes in. Should jail always be the solution? Personally, I don't think so. Accountability is very important, and freedom of speech does not mean freedom from the consequences. But many times, teenagers aren't acting out of hatred, they're acting out of immaturity, peer pressure, simply not realizing how powerful and permanent their words online can be, how powerful their voice can actually be. Instead of rushing to punishment, what if we tried a different approach? So let's imagine schools and communities running digital literacy programs that teach teens not just how to stay safe online, but how to think critically before they really post something online and how their words can actually impact the other people as well. So, or restorative justice systems where instead of just being punished, a teen who made a mistake online has to sit face to face with the people who were hurt, listen, and try to make amends of what mistakes they have done. So that way, the experience becomes a turning point, an opportunity for them to really become better and not a life sentence, right? Because technically teens can go to jail for what they post, but the real focus should be on guiding us young teens on how we can become responsible digital citizens and people who understand the power of their voice, of our voice, and use it wisely. The internet should be a place where we create, connect, and inspire, not a place where one makes a mistake and our freedom is taken away, which is why I am strongly against this idea. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. We are all against this idea of really taking a teenager to jail. But the challenge is a lot of power has been given to every single fingertip without any education about what's going to come after that. That's where the experimentation is happening with society globally. Let's see where it really ends up. For some people, it has been really bad, but let's see what's there in store for the future generations. Let's go back to our speaker, Dr. Ashok uh, Vankadari, the founder and principal of Tasmi from Bangalore, Karnataka. So over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome. Meanwhile, let's quickly do an open floor. We have listened to all the speakers today. They've shared their ideas, what they thought about the topic. Even teenagers sharing that, there should be more education, literacy around it, more awareness around it, rather than just directly taking them to jail. So, what if anyone was muted? If there's something that you want to add to the conversation before we conclude the session, just raise your hand so that I can invite you next. The only request, try to be as brief as possible so that maximum people get a chance to speak. Meanwhile, let's go to Veena ma'am. Veena ma'am wanted to add something. Veena ma'am, over to you. What more thoughts would you like to put forward?
Yeah, definitely. I'll keep it very short because I just wanted to make it as a point like we have been talking about regarding the punishment. But rather than that, I feel we should be talking about how can I make our students or our teenagers accountable? Like, how do we make them understand that their online presence need to be meaningful and how they can actually use their voice to create, lead, or build communities. The reason why I'm mentioning this because in my school itself, there was one particular student of grade 9. Actually, he wanted to create certain posts on mental health awareness. And slowly he started posting it online, and our students, our teachers, they started sharing it. And it has helped a lot of other students to start opening up and talking about mental health and openly talking about their issues, what they are going through. So I think teenagers, they will be able to connect with others and they will be able to create that kind of space where no, they can talk openly and come out from their problems. Each teenager is going through different sort of issues. So if we can create that kind of platform using this social media or online platforms where they can openly talk about it and come to a solution which creates an impact on each one's life. I think that should be the whole focus where our students should be led to.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think we do some effort around this, which is called the World Teen Parliament, where we get all these teenagers from all over the world so that they can have more conversation, meaningful conversations around things. So, and Nikhil, Archisha, and Kinley are a part of the World Teen Parliament, so they've first-hand experienced it. How does it really operate? They can tell you more about it. In the meanwhile, I would like to go back to Mr. Dr. Ashok Vankadari, the founder and principal for Tasmi from Bangalore, Karnataka. Ashokji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself.
Very good evening to all of you. I think I'm audible too. It's a wonderful opportunity given by Blurb and Mr. Gar to present ourselves or give our individual feedbacks. I heard all the educators, future minds, because I term my students as future minds. So I'm trying to say as the same. Everyone spoke about freedom of speech, the accountability, the support. Then how much of the accountability are we educators are taking? Because first one we need to teach them is the judgment of what is good and what is not. Only then they start understanding what is viable to be shared and what is not. So until unless you will not be able to teach them what is good and what is bad, they'll not be able to differentiate, because a lot of educators said the students are given the access of the internet at the very young age so that they'll get the accessibility and they be quite fantastic. But are we trying to say what is good, what is bad? No. Are we trying to say what to see and what not to see? No. If you see something, how do you need to understand? How do you need to what do you say? How do you need to take it to yourself? What is good in that? Example, if you watch a movie, what do we say? Take good things. How many of us are we trying to say this to our kids? So everything falls into the line of understanding and taking it and giving it back to our kids. In Tasmai, in our school, that's what we try to educate students from the day one, that what is good. We give them mud, we give them chocolate. They need to judge what is good and what to be consumable. How do they need to use it? They're given everything. They're given a chalk piece. They're given a fruit. They need to understand what is good, what not to be thrown away. So until unless the judgment doesn't comes in, and they are not able to judge what is right and what is wrong, we as elders has to take the accountability. There's only one conclusion I would like to do with the comparison. In olden days, we used to have a lot of family members, like father's brothers, father's sisters, grandfather. At home, when you sit on talking on a topic, there'll be different thought process used to come in, and they used to understand what is good and what is not. But today, because of the nuclear families, as all of us, all the educators are facing, is parents give away the phones, give away the access to the internet, and walk out. So what do? They don't know. So one of the I have experience and I have counseled that student where one of the student of mine, and where he was scoring with 60s and 70s. After the counseling and after he understood what is correct and what is wrong, he scored 93% in his grade 10th CBSE exams. So that's a difference you can get in. See, until unless they don't know how to differentiate. So that's it. So we need to take the accountability to make things better.
Thank you so much, Ashok. At the end of the day, it's the accountability of the parent, the adult around that child who will take accountability. But yes, at this point, another challenge comes up that the current age or the current generation really doesn't think of adults as somebody that they want to have a conversation with. For them, humans are less interesting than a chatbot. For them, humans are superbly less interesting than internet. For them, people are very backward compared to the content that they get so quickly on the internet. So we'll have to figure out ways that how do we really bring the conversation back? The parent might be busy, the teacher might be stuck, and if the student has a question, that really goes to a chatbot. So the preferences from the perspective of a student are really changing. So since the open floor is going on there, if anyone from you wants to add something to the conversation, just raise your hand and I'll invite you next. Sudama wants to add something. Sudama, over to you. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you for the second chance. As I was mentioning earlier, we are, after COVID, we all just jumped into the pool of virtual thing. So every parent has to be educated about the virtual world, because it is not only a school or a teacher, the parents also responsible for that. And the teenagers in the school, we all have this value education period. That value is changing every now and then. It is not a constant. So now the value is, maybe you can take it as an etiquette of the online media, how to use it and all those things. If that has been positively used, like this open talk, calling the youngster and talking to them about like how you are doing a round table, like that in the school also they can have a round table to talk about it. More than us, they have a lot of ideas how to encourage that etiquette of virtual online thing. They will learn it. Thank you.
Giving them more space and more safe spaces where they can have conversations could be a solution that could really make a lot of difference, I think. And Fani Amal, ma'am, wants to say something. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. The next minute is yours.
Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible, please.
Yeah. Actually, this is another one thing what Madam said previously, that we have to educate or aware. So we, as an educator, it is our responsibility to create an orientation or an awareness session for the parents, especially from the middle wings parents, really, to make aware themselves that what they are giving to their what type of gadgets giving to their what, and how to utilize it, and whom to be with them, right? Because very previously, the first round, Madam told that some of the mentors should be there, right? So the parents are the mentors at home and the educators are the mentors in the school. So we will give that the consequences are, there is no need of sending them in jail, but we have to educate. This is a need of an hour.
Absolutely. Let's not send them to jail, but rather educate them. Shauli ma'am wants to add something. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
I have a very small thing to say here. We have been talking about a lot of things, but the main point is that reaching out to the children is missed out. We are talking about parents, we are talking about the children are willing to talk, but you have to come down to that term and talk to them. And for that we have to also put down some of our shields, and we have to come down to the level of being a child ourselves. I know as a leader we cannot do that, but we can do it to certain students, but not to all of them. So we have to give a kind of a platform for the students to come and talk openly. They turn to internet not for other reasons, but for not having certain question unanswered. Indian system is such that teachers also don't speak certain things. Whenever the lesson of reproduction comes, the teacher rushes through the lesson. Similarly, when we are talking about parents, the child goes and asks something, the parent and the children have a lot of gap. That gap has to be bridged. Until unless this bridging is not done, I am sure the children will not come up with their problems. And lastly, what I would like to say is that community service of a different kind. If a child has put some kind of content which has affected certain people, Nikhil had also mentioned this, let the child go and face those students and those people whom he have hurt and get the empathy on the ground, not just by imagination, but by being on the ground, facing the problem, facing the consequences, and catering to the need of these kind of hurt people. So that will solve a lot of problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very right. Giving them a chance to really face who might have been hurt, so that this gives them an understanding of perspective versus perception, which we try a lot doing at the World Parliament as well. But it's very important that they get more spaces to converse and about topics that they think are relevant to them. Shabnam ma'am, over to you. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi. I wanted to comment on what Nikhil said about the teenagers these days. They don't wait. They don't think before commenting to someone online. So yes, this is the age of instant gratification. They are getting everything that they want, without having to wait for it. This is one reason why comments can be hurtful, hateful. Yeah. But there is another thing that we need to think is who bullies or says unwanted or negative things online, those who do it in personal life, and who are they, those who are getting bullied themselves. So we have to get down to there, come out of the screen, and in real life listen. As Sauli ma'am said, that we have to listen to our kids, our students. We have to give them that window to speak up where they don't feel unwanted or ignored. And trust me, the personal world, you said that the chatbot is way more important than a human being. Okay, but that, not really. A human conversation can surpass all chatbots, because ultimately it is HI, human intelligence. All right. But then we have to learn, we have to educate ourselves to be aware of what our kids are doing, what our students, what our kids are doing. And back again to your original questions, can teenagers go to jail for what they post online? Yes. Should they go to jail for what they post online? No. There must be, jail should is not a place for a teenager. There no rehabilitation happens. So we have to consider rehabilitation, we have to consider reform, but parents need to be accountable. You cannot give a Porsche to a 16-year-old, and when the Porsche mows down people, you cannot say that he is a teenager, he should not be blamed, and he cannot be jailed, he cannot face consequences. All right, teenager cannot face, parents should. That's all I wanted to add.
Thank you so much, Shabnam ma'am. And I think it's very important for a parent also to understand the onus really lies on you. The buck stops on you. Look at it from a very different perspective. We had a conversation that can a student really go to jail for posting things online? Just go back a little in time. Somebody in the US, I would not take names, created a forum to simply do bullying. That was the genesis of a platform that we all currently use, that lets rate girls on the internet. And that became a sensation, and that became one of the biggest social media companies that we all experience every single day. It's money for a corporation and onus for a parent. Are we really playing it fair? Somebody creates the problem and somebody takes the responsibility of it. As adults, as lawmakers, as legislators, as educationists, as students, are we not looking at the problem in the wrong perspective? Are we not pointing the fingers towards the wrong people? The people who make shitloads of money out of this, should they not be the ones spending to control the pandemic that they've started themselves? Are they really doing that? What are the measures that they're taking? And most importantly, if a team like Nikhil, Archita, Kinley, if they want more space, if they want more concern, if they want more empathy, should they not be forcing those corporations to allocate the funds for it? At the end of the day, every discussion is just a perspective. Whatever we are speaking is just a perspective. It's an opinion. It's limited to just speaking. But for the future generations, you have to understand, to whom will you point your finger to? And will pointing fingers solve the problem? Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the conversation. This was the episode 266 of the Blub World Web Talks. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio, say a big yes, and have an amazing time. Namaste. Thank you so much.